So there are a ton of Heartless in Kingdom Hearts 1. Most of them are iconic and have been a part of the series in almost every game following their appearances in this game. However, there are a few that were just not that great or were annoying to fight in the first game, and it seems the developers knew this because most of the Heartless I don't like seem to have been left to just the original game or Rechain of Memories, which is fine with me, because these are the Heartless I find the most annoying to fight in Kingdom Hearts 1 in no particular order. Black Ballad. This is a Heartless that you don't really fight, but instead have to play an annoying minigame with. It splits itself into multiple copies, and you need to hit the real one to damage it, or else it will counterattack. It's not too bad for the first round or two, but it will then get very difficult after that. If you guess wrong, he will give you a little static shock that does a tiny bit of damage, but you won't really lose to him unless you go into the fight with like 0 HP. The only reason you have to interact with him is because you need to fight him for his items that he drops, exclusively for synthesis items late in the game. And he rarely drops them unless you finish all rounds of this minigame, which get progressively harder to the point where even trying to cheese the fight by pausing repeatedly to see where he's going doesn't help that much. So if you're doing a casual playthrough, you won't really have to worry about going against him, but if you're like me and you want to finish everything that this game has to offer, you will be seeing this Heartless quite a few times. Sniper Wild. These Heartless, like the Black Ballad, are Heartless that you don't have to worry about unless you want to get their loot drops. So again, no reason to go after them unless you're looking for rare materials for synthesizing gear. These Heartless have a gimmick where you have to defeat them without being seen, or at least take them out quickly after being spotted. If you are spotted and do not take care of them right away, they will call their friends to relentlessly pelt you with projectiles, no matter where you go, and infinitely respawn. Sounds great, but then you realize they don't give XP after you are seen, so pack up and leave once they call in their friends. They spawn in waves of 1, 2, or 3, and then they restart back to 1 after 3 waves. You have to clear multiple waves to get their loot drops, and if you fail, you will have to leave the room and come back later after some wandering, because they only spawn in one room in the entire game, and they are not guaranteed to spawn in the room in the first place. So that's fun. These Heartless are just a waste of time if you're not looking for the items they drop, and can be very annoying to deal with once spotted, so that's why they are on my list. Aqua Tank. Honestly, out of all of the Heartless on this list, this is probably the least offensive one. They're only in one world that's optional, and there really isn't anything wrong with them. I just don't like them because if you're just trying to skip past them and not fight, they don't like that, and they will make sure to chase you until you get out of the room they are in. Like, they have a lot of health, and they are optional enemies in an optional world. Like, just let me go past you. I'm not taking the time to fight all of you. They're also in Kingdom Hearts Rechain of Memories, but they're not as bad there, mostly because you can control Sora normally when fighting them, unlike in the first game where you have to deal with the garbage swimming controls. So maybe I just hate this one because I already hate the level they're found in, but either way, it made it on my list. Wizard. Now this Heartless right here is what prompted me to make the list in the first place. They are the most annoying and tedious enemy in the game by far. They are immune to almost all magic, which is already annoying because magic in the first game is busted and easily the best way to deal with most common Heartless mid to late game. On top of that, if they get hit by magic, they will start casting the same spell back towards you. Thunder being the best spell to use, wipe out tons of enemies at once, but these Heartless sometimes get caught in the blast and then proceed to spam thunder magic back at you. The whole time they do this, they are invincible, so you just have to deal with the attacks. Then once they are done, and you go in for a quick attack with the Keyblade, and then you swing at them and they decide to disappear, making you miss your attack. Then they reappear somewhere else, and by the time you get back to them, they may decide to try that again, or they might decide to start spamming thunder again, making you wait even longer to take them out. Not to mention, the lock-on system for the original game is trash, so when you try to lock onto them, you'll probably lock onto something else, making you whiff your attacks, giving them another chance to teleport away from you. The only thing that's not annoying about them is that they don't have a ton of health compared to other Heartless. Not that that matters too much considering it's hard to get a hold of them in the first place. I would just skip them when encountering them, but I can't until I get the very rare item drop that they have for a weapon for Donald, that you can only get from farming them. So until I get that weapon, I will have to continue to deal with them. It's okay, it's only a 0.2% drop rate, no big deal guys. I'm definitely not crying inside right now. Definitely not mad that I have to get this weapon so I can get an achievement for the game, because I want to collect every achievement in it. Oh, and also this is a Heartless that appears in Rechain of Memories and Recoded also, so that's nice. Angel Star. I don't have much to say about this one besides the fact that I hate that it can just deflect all of your attacks by hiding behind their wings. And also like the wizards, they are immune to thunder spells, so that's lovely. They also make an appearance in Recoded. Also, the journal entry for them says that they are born of holy spells, which doesn't make sense to me considering the Heartless are supposed to be made of darkness itself. But I don't know anymore, this series is too confusing. I'll give them a little slack though since this is the first game in the series, so maybe they just didn't have everything quite figured out yet. White Mushroom. The White Mushroom Heartless are another Heartless that you do a sort of minigame with instead of actually fighting. They don't pose any threat to you at all. What's annoying though is the minigame itself. It's pretty simple. They do an action to signify what spell they want you to hit them with, and then after hitting them 3 times, they drop some rewards for you and leave. What's also annoying about them is the fact that they have a somewhat low encounter rate, and they switch up the spell that they want you to hit them with last second sometimes, making you lose the minigame, leaving you with nothing. Not to mention, sometimes they are standing too close to each other, making you accidentally hit them with a thunder spell when you meant to only hit one of them. Then there's also a secret weapon you can only get by going out of your way to use the same spell 3 times in a row to get an extra item before they leave, corresponding with each spell in the game. Collect all of them to get the Dream Shield for Goofy, which is cool because it is one of the weapons that Sora picks out at the beginning of the game, which shortly gets replaced with the Keyblade. So there are 7 spells you have to do this with. Not too bad, you think to yourself. But then you realize there are some white mushrooms that will only ask for certain spells in one specific world, meaning you have to travel all over the place for these item drops that you wouldn't even know existed unless you accidentally hit them with the same spell 3 times in a row. And on top of that, they don't have any purpose other than getting the Dream Shield. They don't even sell for that much money either, and well cool, the Dream Shield isn't even that good of a weapon by the time you end up getting it. So I guess I don't really find them too annoying on their own. They pose no threat to you and are completely optional, but I guess I started to find them annoying once I purposefully went out of my way to find them to get all of their item drops, which can be very boring and time consuming. Oh yeah, and I almost forgot, they have another item drop that is needed for many item synthesis recipes, the Mystery Goo, which is a kind of a gross name for the item. Black Fungus. Lastly, we have the Black Fungus. They may seem similar to their white counterparts, but these mushrooms actually prove a threat to you. They have one attack. They spray out a poison gas when you approach them that slowly drains your health. Not really that bad until they decide to turn themselves completely invincible after doing this. Then they just decide to start wandering around doing nothing while you just stand there staring at them. Very annoying indeed. They drop the previously mentioned Mystery Goo, gross, but also a much rarer item, Mystery Mold, which has no purpose other than being sold for a ton of money, which is a nice change of pace compared to needing to kill hundreds of them just for a chance to get a rare item drop to make an item that you don't even want but need to make to unlock more recipes for the items you do want. The way these Heartless item drops work is that they reward you for getting the final hit on them as a critical hit. Do that and you'll be rewarded with money, or if you're lucky, the Mystery Goo, or Mold. Not the most offensive on this list since they don't drop anything that is exclusive to them that's important for item crafting, but they gained a spot on this list just for being an annoying waste of time when they turn invincible. But again, you could just not fight them, except for when you fight them in the Coliseum. But by the time you get there, you'll probably be strong enough to take care of them in 1 or 2 hits, and they won't even have a chance to register that the fight started. Also, these Heartless were brought back for Rechain of Memories and Recoded, so they can waste your time in those games too. Thank you all so much for watching. Let me know if you want more videos like this, or if you agree or disagree with me. Also, leave a like and maybe even subscribe if you made it this far. Goodbye.